Jon Jones wants on the White House card. Jon Jones is willing to prove his sincerity that he wants on the card to Dana White. That's a pretty simple statement. And I appreciate the simplicity of the statement. It gets a little bit more complex when you simply ask, how? Like, I'm very open to this idea, and I am very open to Jon being our best fighter. I'm very open to the idea that if we want to cap the card off with an American victory, the surest bet we've got is sitting in Albuquerque. I'm not sold on the idea that it does need to be an American victor or even an American in the main event. I'll just remind you guys of Noche at Sphere. But the main event, well, all the Mexican fighters were really put on display. And in Dana's words, this was a love letter to the Mexican fighting community. Our main event was Merab versus O'Malley. There wasn't even a chance for a Mexican to come out on top. And so I'm just sharing with you, like, I don't know that that's actually an important part of it, and I don't know that we should make it an important part. If I was to just go back to the Noche example, it would seem like you'd be setting yourself up for failure. It would seem like if there's one Mexican athlete and it's supposed to go this way, which we've never done in this sport. We've never said, all right, here's the script and here's how this is supposed to go. And if it doesn't go this way, oh my gosh, are we ever going to have an explosion in the world of PR and going to need some crowd cover? It doesn't work that way. It's a show and it's an event and the right placement and somebody goes last and generally there's a title involved and off you go. So I don't know that we would need to change any of those things just because we're changing the location. Though I do fully admit, I'm not a hater on Jon Jones wanting to participate in a sport that he's participated in for his entire professional life. I just don't know what it means when he says I'm willing to show and prove to Dana White that I want that opportunity. That's the part where, could we guess? I think it's incumbent that something happened prior to that event. Example, Dana, I will fight Derek Lewis. It won't be a title fight, so it probably won't even be a main event fight. And I'm not going to skin you for pay-per-view points or ask for any exceptions. We're going to look right at my contract. I'm going to give you 3 rounds as opposed to the 5 that I'm usually giving you. I'm going to take one step down on the card, which is demoting myself and showing my humility. And believe it or not, I'm going to do something really unusual. I'm going to honor the contract that I have. We are not going to have to renegotiate. And I think that would go a very long way. I think that Dana would go, yeah, that's tremendous. And I do believe you. Is there something else, though? Is there another way to do it? Because I'm not certain that my mind, even with its creativity, can find another option, such as I'm in the training room. I'm in the training room. I'm working hard. I'm going to send you videos. You know, I'm not doing this for nothing. I'm doing this for something. And that weight class gets a little bit confusing if Surreal comes out on Tom. I don't foresee that. But the matchup is not the easiest of matchups for Tom. Just that style. Just the way that Surreal moves. Just the way that Surreal can stay out of punches. Not to mention he can take a pretty good punch. Not to mention Surreal shows up in pretty good shape. And there is a question on Tom because of his dominance. Like, it's not Tom's fault. It wasn't Mike Tyson's fault. It wasn't Ronda Rousey's fault. But when a sport that is germane by nature to be extremely difficult for you within your own experiences hasn't been difficult. Again, Mike Tyson putting everybody down in the first round. Ronda Rousey getting 6 of them out of there in the first round. Tom Aspinall, I believe, has finished his last 6 opponents. I believe he has finished every UFC opponent he's ever had. And I believe the only time he went to the second round was against Andrei Arlovski, and he finished them there. So Tom keeps getting put in 5 round atmospheres, prepares for that way, but I'm just sharing for you what would happen when he gets in a third round. That's not an insult to Tom, but it's also not something as simple as turning to Tom and says, what are you going to do if you're 20 minutes in and you're down by 2 rounds? What are you going to do? He is going to guess that his training will kick in. This is what he's prepared for, and nothing's going to change. He's going to go out there and try to punch that guy more times than he punches him, but he doesn't actually know. None of us actually know. So Tom versus Surreal is tough, and let's just look at it from both sides of the coin, right? There's only 2 sides. Tom beats Surreal. Tom does not beat Surreal. That's it. So is there a scenario where you would bring Jon in to fight Surreal? I don't think so. I believe that Jon's next fight is going to be against Tom, and I don't believe that that matters whether Tom is the champion or not. If somebody has a kryptonite, and if that guy is floating around the bracket, and if you know that guy's going to be next, let's just say that it's Jon versus Surreal. We would have a very high degree of confidence of what's going to happen there, considering we've already seen it happen once. That person draws in to Tom. So if Tom is the problem, and we're not going to be able to solve that problem, might as well just be the one that we start with. Whether it's for the championship or not, it's Tom. And how do you proclaim to be best in the world? How do you proclaim to be best in the world while openly saying, I won't face that guy? I can't quite tie these together, but I'm not certain that I have to. Jon has come out and said he wants on that card. He is focused. He's doing what it takes to be on that card. Dana has come out and said the top fight that he could put on that card, if he was doing it now, even though it's over a year away, would involve Jon. I mean, it sounds like things aren't light years apart. It sounds like everybody's saying the same thing. Just how do we get that done? And Jon appears, at least by this statement, to be well aware that he's going to need to do something. That he was offered this fight, that he said no to this fight. That something about fighting outdoors and the White House, something about that is special enough to bring him back. He just knows that he lacks sincerity, that he will, in fact, come back. He says he can fix that. He says he can change it. He says he can prove it, and he can prove it specifically to Dana White. How? What would you guess? What would you suppose? What would satisfy you? How can Jon prove that he wants, regardless of opponent, regardless of money, regardless of title on the line or not? How can he prove that he is sincere and will make that walk when the time comes to be part of the card at the White House?